What's going on, YouTube? Mr. Beantown here, bringing you guys a doubleheader today. First game, we have the Miami Dolphins going up against the Oakland Raiders. We are the Dolphins. I'm not really going to get into the gameplay much. I really wanted to talk about the NFL Draft. First round happened last night. There were a few surprises, a couple of obvious picks. So let's start getting into that. Chiefs, they took an offensive tackle like everyone thought. It wasn't Luke Jokel, but it was Eric Fisher. He's an athletic beast, so if they do trade Brandon Albert, they have a solid replacement for him. Jaguars, Luke Jokel, they need offensive line help. He's gonna try and protect Blaine Gabbert. We'll see if anything happens, as we allow a touchdown there after failing to go for it on fourth down. But onward, next pick, the Dolphins made a trade with the Raiders to select Dion Jordan. Everyone seemed that was a surprise, but I think it was a good pick. Put him on the other side of Cameron Wake, and Miami Dolphins are gonna have some crazy pass rush. So they're going to be a good team. They revamped their defense. They added a couple players, Donnell Ellaby, I believe. Of course, Mike Wallace. So, Eagles, they took an offensive lineman. They needed that help. They had one of the worst offensive lines last year. That's why Michael Vick got killed. So, hopefully, maybe he can do better this year. As we see, oh, what a juke by Reggie Bush. Oh, man. That had to be juke of the year. Lions took a defensive lineman. Browns, they took a defensive lineman too. Everyone was surprised that the Browns took Mingo from LSU. They thought that they would give Joe Hayden some help on the other side with Milner. I thought that would have been a great pick. They already have a great defense now. They would have just shored up that pass defense. They would have been good to go, but they go with Mingo to give a pass rush opposite Paul Kruger. Let's see. Next big move that was made, the Rams traded up with the Buffalo Bills to select Tavon Austin. The Rams had to do something to help that offense. That was anemic. They lost Amendola, lost Steven Jackson, and Tavon Austin was the most dynamic offensive player in the draft, so they made the trade up to get him, and it gives Sam Bradford a weapon as we throw an interception there. Bad throw on our part, but we were able to stop him from getting into the end zone, so that's a plus. We'll see if we can try and hold him to at least a field goal. The Jets, the first pick they had, number 9 overall. Do they trade for a replacement for Revis and D. Milner? I like him. The draft experts was saying that he had kind of bad hands to be a Darrelle Revis type, but Darrelle Revis didn't have that many interceptions himself, so. Next two picks, Titans and Chargers, they took some offensive linemen. Nothing sexy there. They just needed some offensive line help. The Raiders at 12 took a corner, DJ Hayden. He's the one that took a knee to the chest, and he had a vein, I believe, by his heart. A blood vessel by his heart erupted, and it nearly killed him. Then he came back, ran a sub 4.40, so he put himself in great position to be drafted high. He was the second corner taken. Everyone thought he was going to go late in the first round, but the Raiders, they made a bold move, trading back, picking up an extra second round pick, and they were able to pick up the corner that they wanted as we bait the guy. Oh man, look at him. Oh, you shouldn't have thrown that one. Next, the Jets take a defensive tackle. That's the last thing they would have needed. They should have drafted some offensive help for Sanchez, because Stephen Hill, he's still a project, and they are, after they lost Dustin Keller, everyone was thinking that they were going to take Tyler Eifert, I believe his name is, to take over for that nice athletic tight end, but that wasn't the case as we kick a field goal here, take a 3-point lead to go into the half. Carolina took some defensive line help. They needed a defensive tackle to go with that stellar defense that they already have. The linebacking core is top-notch. Saints took a safety, and then the biggest shocker was the Bills. After trading back, they took E.J. Manuel from Florida State. Some people had him drafted in the second or third round. The Bills, they made a choice. They passed on Nassib, they passed on Geno Smith, and they went with E.J. Manuel, big quarterback, I apologize. And sometimes all it takes is one team to believe in you, and you shock everybody. Let's see, when was some next trades? Let's go here to number 20 with the Bears. Everyone thought that they were going to take Tyler Eifert from Notre Dame. He would have been a perfect complement for Jay Cutler as my opponent quits here. Next game we have here is the Raiders. We're playing as the Raiders. We're going up against Tampa Bay. Again, The Bears, they took an offensive lineman. I understand that they needed some offensive line help after Jay Cutler got murdered last year and the year before, but they need to give him a big tight end, someone to go opposite of Brandon Marshall, someone that can catch the ball and help him out. Because right now it's either it goes to Marshall or check down. So a big tight end would have helped him out. The Falcon, man, I love the Falcons GM. He just trades up to get the players he wanted. A few years ago, he almost gave up. He basically gave his entire draft to get Julio Jones, and look how that turned out. Julio Jones is probably one of the best wide receivers in the league, as TP gets a big QB option run. But they weren't there. They're looking at the Seahawks. They're looking at the 49ers, thinking, "Wow, these teams are stacking up, and we're just standing pat." Like, they added Steven Jackson, Human Yora. But they lost a couple of corners, so they needed a corner. So they got that in Desmond Trufant. His brother plays for the Seahawks, I believe. So they're making another run for it. And one of the biggest fallers of the draft, besides Geno Smith, of course, Sharif Floyd. A lot of people had him going number 3 to Oakland. Big defensive tackle. Draft experts were saying that he was one of the top 4 defensive tackles. They were all close together. But hey, that's going to be a good spot for him. Have Kevin Williams, Jared Allen. I believe Robison's also a good player. So that's going to have a pretty good defensive line. Let's see. The Vikings' next pick was 2 picks later. They took a big corner, Xavier Rhodes. They needed somebody to take over Antoine Winfield's spot, who also went to the Seahawks. Man, those Seahawks are going to be stacked. I can only imagine how good they're going to be in next year's game. But they took a big corner in Xavier Rhodes. I was hoping that he would fall a few more picks to my Patriots and hope that they would have actually stuck with the pick and tried to pick him up, but that wasn't the case. Seahawks pounced over him. Great pick by them. The Texans, they needed some wide receiver help to go with Andre Johnson. So they'll take DeAndre Hopkins. I don't know if you guys remember his name, but he and another fellow wide receiver, I forgot what his name was, but DeAndre Hopkins was the one that tore up the hotel room at the NFL Combine, I believe. They were saying that they smeared feces and pissed all over the floor as TP gets in for another read option touchdown. So they took a chance on him, thinking that he would clean up his act in the NFL. Hopefully he does. So now they're giving Matt Schaub another weapon, so hopefully maybe he can go up and bring them to the next level. They're a good regular season team, but they need to get further along. Number 29, my Patriots. What did they do? They do what they do best. They traded down. They acquired 4 picks for the number 29 pick. 4 picks, a second, a third, a fourth, and a 7th. After seeing the wide receiver talent that is still left in the draft, I think they made the right decision. They're going to be able to get a few more picks in compared to what they had. I believe they only had 5 picks before that trade with the Vikings, so hopefully they can pick up a wide receiver to put on the outside to help Tom Brady and give us another Super Bowl run. The Vikings with that pick, Cordarrelle Patterson. Everyone's saying that he's the best wide receiver talent-wise going into the draft. They say he has freakish speed. He's a big receiver. Put him opposite Greg Jennings. Hopefully he can learn under him and give Christian Ponder some more help in AP. Maybe that'll give him a chance to face less men in the box. Imagine what he can do when he has less guys in the box to go up against. And then, nothing really too exciting happened the rest of the way. I want to talk about Geno Smith, man. I feel bad for him. Everyone thought in the beginning of the draft season, as we get an interception in the end zone, that he was going to be the number 1 pick to the Chiefs. Chiefs didn't think so. They made the trade. They get Alex Smith. So that means Smith just keeps falling and falling. After Buffalo passed on him at 8, everyone thought, oh man, he's going to be sitting around for a while. And that's what was the case. Buffalo had a chance at 16. They went with E.J. Manuel. So, hey, that's all that Geno Smith can do. Hopefully he goes off the board early in the 2nd round. That's what everyone is saying. Him, Matt Barkley. No running backs taken for the first time, I believe, since the late 1960s. No running back was drafted in the 1st round. Eddie Lacy, it looks like he's going to be going early 2nd round. Maybe Green Bay or a team like that trades up to try and pick him up. For a 2nd round talent, for a 3-down back, it's not bad at all. He might not be the best, but it'll do. Who else was there? Player I want to see the Patriots pick up, Robert Woods, USC. He already ran in a pro-style offense. Tom Brady needs a receiver. He has sure hands, quick receiver. Put him on the outside. Give him some help. Because we don't know if Gronkowski is going to be ready to start the season. So you can't win a Super Bowl in the first couple of games of the season, but you can sure as hell lose a playoff spot with a few losses early in the season. Video's wrapping up, guys. If you enjoyed, like, comment, subscribe. Until next time, guys, I'm out. Peace.